Halloween 2. If you are not caught up on my channel, welcome to my Rob Zombie series of reviews. I've been reviewing all of his films that I haven't currently talked about yet because starting next week, we have a new Rob Zombie film in the Munsters, which some people are not excited about, some people are. I would say I am, just because I'm a fan of his music and his films, even the ones that don't necessarily work all that well. And today we're talking about one that doesn't work so well that I'm actually not a fan of. Um, I did review his previous Halloween movie, and I've also reviewed the original Halloween movie, and I will have a review for Halloween Ends. So I guess if you like the Halloween franchise, if you like me talking about horror movies, I've actually done a lot of horror reviews, especially recently. I just reviewed Pearl, I reviewed Barbarian, and I have plans to review some other horror movies. And next week I'll be reviewing the Munsters movie and Munsters Go Home. And so stay tuned for all those reviews. I also have a review for Jeepers Creepers Reborn coming up very soon. So just if you like horror, you like me talking about horror, I'm wearing my goddamn Freddy shirt. Stick around. Uh, but yeah, I really did not like this movie, and I think even the defenders of the first one hate this movie. And the reason why I like the first one is this: I adore John Carpenter's Halloween. It's one of my all-time favorite horror movies. No, it is my all-time favorite. It's kind of a toss-up between that and uh, and the first Scream movie. Those two are kind of toss-up, but overall, I would say Halloween's probably my favorite, and Scream's probably two. And so, it was always going to be hard for me to get into a remake of Halloween because it's my all-time favorite horror movie. I don't think you can remake a John Carpenter movie well at all. But I was able to enjoy Halloween 2007, directed by Rob Zombie, as his just kind of his own movie. He did a very different take of trying to unravel how someone like Michael Myers could become that, and what that means and what that is. And that's a really interesting idea. And I think the worst aspects of that movie uh, were just how Michael looked and some of the other things like that. But overall, if you don't take it as a remake of Halloween, it works a lot better. But if you do, it's a new and fresh take that isn't perfect, and some people might not get into, but it works for what it is, and I appreciated that. This movie does not, however. First of all, Sherry Moon, Rob Zombie's wife, is really bad in this movie once again, as she is in every Rob Zombie movie. Seriously, dude, stop putting your wife in things. This is like Melissa McCarthy's problem too. Is like Melissa McCarthy makes movies with her husband, and you're always like, stop working together. You guys are a couple. We get it, but that doesn't mean you guys have to work together and make these bad projects. you know, but it's even worse in this case than more than usual Rob Zombie fare, because her character literally died in the first movie, and then they brought her back in flashbacks just to throw her into this movie, and it's very awkward, very clunk. Or they brought her back in kind of a weird way in this movie, and just very awkward, very clunky. I didn't like it. The symbolism with the white horses, while I get what the symbolism is, it's so freaking confusing and nonsensical and annoying throughout the whole movie. Very awful, very irritating. But yeah, I just cannot stand that. Um, and just, there isn't a lot of what you want to see from a Halloween movie, which is like Michael going around and killing people. And like, I mean, while the first one didn't have a lot of that, it's like, okay, but there isn't enough of that here, and it just leads to just a meh, like annoying, boring movie that just tries to be symbolic and do all these things. It's like, what? This isn't a Rob Zombie movie, and he always talked about that he didn't really want to do a Halloween sequel, but the studio like kind of said, "Hey, money, money, money," and they gave him a sack of money and said, "Go make another one." He's like, "Okay, I'll make another one," and I think he just kind of like did whatever because he didn't really want to do this movie. He likes to make his own original projects. I think he enjoyed his first Halloween movie because he told the story he wanted to tell. I do like that this film was different from Halloween 2, but at the same time, it's like it's not a good different in the first movie. Like the first movie, he's offering this very unique and fresh take. I like where he's going with this, and so that's cool. But then you get to the Halloween this one, and it doesn't feel like a fresh and unique take. It just felt like someone who's making a movie because a studio handed him money, and he went and made it, and he didn't really care about the final product. And I think that just shows in the final end product. It just does. And I'm not a big fan of this movie, and I don't think a lot of people are. I mean, this movie killed this franchise until Halloween 2018 came out. And this movie came out what, like 2 years later? It was about 2010. So, or no, would have been 2009. So that's a whole 18 years of a no Halloween on the big screen. That's a long time, and it's because of this movie, and it just shows that this movie wasn't that great. And I think this movie will probably get a group of defenders, just like every bad Halloween and Friday the 13th movie. We get a group of defenders who come in and start defending these movies, and I get that. Halloween, in some cases, it's better than others because Halloween does have some like movies that definitely have things that are worth appreciating about it. Like, I don't think Halloween, Rob Zombie's movie, is a great movie, but there's definitely something worth appreciating about that movie. So that's why I'm a defender of that movie. Some people defend Halloween 2, uh, even though I think that movie makes a few mistakes. Some people defend uh, what's the one without Michael? I forget which one that is. But yeah, a lot of people defend these movies, which is understandable. There's things to appreciate about kind of all the Halloween movies, and I definitely like kind of have a soft spot for every Halloween movie and every Friday the 13th movie. But yeah, I am not a huge defender of this one though, sadly.